Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 244. Today we have Dawn Apuan, a copywriter and a funnel strategist. Her mission is to help female entrepreneurs communicate a compelling message and automate leads and sales that generate a steady income. Hello Dawn.
Hello, Patience. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I know the client is anxious to hear your story, so let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my client a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your own online business?
Absolutely, yeah. It's kind of a funny story. My husband and I were pastors for the Salvation Army, which was birthed and born out of the UK, but we live here in the US. And we were pastoring for many years. My husband almost 25 years and me 7. And I had my baby girl, and that changed my life in the best way possible. And ultimately, what that led to was looking for something that would allow me greater freedom and choice with raising her, being home more, and having that freedom and flexibility. So when she was a year and a half old or so, I started looking for ways to make money online. And, I was doing a lot of Googling at that time and looking for ways to work from home. And I ended up buying a digital marketing course, which led to that course taught me how to build funnels, how to start a website, all the basics, which for me was a bit of a stretch. I always tell people that when I told my husband I was starting an online business, he actually laughed out loud and said, "But you don't even know how to turn the TV on." And that is still true to this day. Actually, I don't know how to turn on the TV. My daughter was just singing about it yesterday to herself. I overheard her while I was doing some work, and she's like, "Mommy doesn't know how to turn the TV on, but Daddy does." So it's just to say that you can do anything that you set your mind to, even if you're not tech savvy, which wasn't me, but I was absolutely determined to create a different life for myself and for my daughter. So that's where I started. After buying that course, it took me about a year and a half, maybe a little bit more, before we were able to resign from those positions and move. And then we recently just bought our own home and have been growing the business since then. I did get a 9-to-5 as a bridge in between those two things and was doing both as I was building my business. But we did get out of the ministry initially a couple years back. I guess it's been about 16 months now since we made that transition. So yeah, that's where I came from and how I started my online business. And then it evolved into, I think so many entrepreneurs are multi-passionate, and I didn't exactly know really what I wanted to do to begin with. To be honest, I didn't know that copywriting existed at that time. I started with affiliate marketing, which many people do, either that or, like an MLM type of a business. But I did affiliate marketing. I sold their products and did pretty well, learning Facebook ads and funnel building and all of that. And then ultimately about a year ago, I wanted to have more impact and I wanted to use my gifts and skills. And what I realized was that I was just really, really good at writing, and people wanted to pay me to help them with their writing and to build the funnels. So it ended up being like a really beautiful combination where I can build the entire funnel, but I also do all of the copywriting for landing pages, sales pages, and things like that, and get my clients really awesome results. And I just love doing it. So that's where I am today.
Wow. What a background, Dawn. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. You don't need a TV. Just focus on
No,
what you're passionate about.
I don't watch it
Don't be
anyways.
yes. Okay. What is the most dangerous belief an online entrepreneur can have?
Oh man, good question. So there's something I often say, and it's that entrepreneurship saved my life. And the part of my story that I didn't include, not on purpose, but just kind of forget. There's so many pieces. When I was searching for work from home things, the situation at our job had changed, and I was at that time being forced to put my daughter in childcare, and I was actually having panic attacks, and I got severely depressed. And my husband was concerned for my safety and well-being, thinking that I might take my own life. And it was a really dark time. And what happened with that online digital marketing course was they also, oddly enough, brought in personal development. And so, the teacher of that course and the mentor, there was a Facebook group that went along with it, and he was always talking about personal development and Tony Robbins and, all these different people who had influenced him and how to change your mindset. And really, that shifted everything in my life. I shifted from being a victim of that circumstance and, kind of blaming our old bosses who had told my husband and I that we were failures in our ministry and things like that. And it just got to be like really ugly and abusive in that situation. And that was what had plunged me into that depression. And when I shifted the belief that everything was for me instead of to me, so I got myself out of that victim mentality and then just believing that my success was inevitable. It might take some time. It took longer than I wanted. So many of us who start online businesses want results like yesterday. We want to build this business and have it be a 6-figure business next month or within our first year. And, that's not always the case. But I believed those two things, like learning to stop being a victim and just look at everything being for me. And then knowing that my success was inevitable and just believing it and working every day, that consistent action. And I think those two beliefs are often what I go back to. And then, there's one more, the belief that everything always happens for my highest good in divine timing. I clung to that belief. Like I said, I didn't get out of that really difficult situation for about a year and a half. I waited it out and I was learning, I was building those skills every single night, watching the classes and building funnels and practicing Facebook ads and all of that day after day after day with that belief that everything was always happening for my highest good. And I think that's an incredible belief for entrepreneurs to have, because it's a roller coaster. It's not always great. I mean, even right now with what's happening with the economy and COVID, it's ups and downs for entrepreneurs. And so if you can just wrestle that mindset down to believe that everything's always happening for our good and our success is inevitable, those two things you can move mountains.
Thank you for sharing. Why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? That's a great question. I love serving my clients. I love helping other people. I think in some ways it's that pastoral part of me. I'm not preaching from a pulpit on Sunday or leading Bible studies right now, but I love that I get to help my clients. Like I believe that God has gifted me with writing and with being able to capture my clients' voices with words and communicate that on their landing pages and their sales pages so that they're getting higher conversions, they're getting more sales, and their business then booms. And that's like the most exciting thing for me. I love getting messages when they're so excited that their page is converting or when they get their first sale. And, so many of my clients actually get their first sale within 24 to 48 hours of their sales page going live. And so it's just fun. It's like a game to me. It's fun. I get to write for all different niches, and that creates, a variety and a challenge that I enjoy. But getting to watch them grow and build confidence because they have a funnel that speaks from their voice and is making them money, but also, what we do as entrepreneurs, we solve problems for people, we get results for people, and they do amazing things. I mean, I have clients who are productivity coaches, lactation specialists for, brand new moms who are struggling with breastfeeding, or horse trainers. Like, I have so many different kinds of clients who are doing amazing things in the world. And I don't know how to do all those things, but I know how to write, and I know how to make it so that they can impact more people with their message, because it's communicated in such a way that people grab hold of that. So that's like my biggest joy, and what gets me up every morning is because I get to have an impact. It's such a ripple effect. If I'm helping, a ton of entrepreneurs be able to make more sales and impact more people, I still have like that ripple effect impact to all those people because I was part of that. So that, I think, is the biggest joy for me, is seeing their success and their excitement about serving their people.
Let's put Iman aside. How do you know you are successful?
Such a tough journey for me. I'll be honest on that one, because for so many, success is equivalent to money. And I struggled with that for a long time because I wasn't making the money that I wanted to in my business. I had a lot of pressure on myself to free my family out of that situation we were in. And for so long, when the money wasn't coming to the degree that I needed it to come to get us out, I didn't see myself as a success. And there was an event I was at where like this topic was talked about, and the speaker really drilled in how we define success, and that success isn't just about money. And if you make it just about money, then you'll always be chasing money. And looking at, for example, like I think my biggest success is me as a mom. I adore my baby girl. And I believe that I'm a really good mom. And I think what shifted for me in my mindset at that point was like, well, I am very successful at being a mom, and I was also very successful at being a pastor, and I was very well loved. And to be able to translate that, to not discredit that, because that's just a different type of currency, right? Love is a different currency than money, but money is a reflection of so much of, how we look at ourselves and all that kind of stuff. And so what I ended up doing was, I guess, transitioning in my mind and focusing on that as a success, and every day being grateful for the people in my life, for the love that I had in my life, for the wealth that I had, not the wealth I was missing financially, if that makes sense. And it's, I wouldn't say I'm perfect at it now. Like, I still have big income goals, and I still have, I guess, success markers on an income level that I want to reach in my business, that I'm aiming to reach. But at the same time, every day I journal and I write down my gratitude for what I'm thankful for, that is wealth in a different form, having a home, having a family that I love, getting to be home to raise my daughter. There's so much wealth and success in each one of us that we overlook because we're so focused on the money.
What have you learned from business as a whole?
Oh my goodness, I have learned so much. Literally, the last 2.5 years have been the most incredible journey. I think I would have to say it goes back to the mindset, realizing how much I had sort of let life happen to me, rather than being proactive and realizing that everything is a choice. Everything is a choice. Like, every moment of every day, you have a choice over what you think, how you're thinking about something, what your actions are that day. And yes, things happen that are outside our control. that's all of us have those circumstances that we can't control, but we can control ourselves and how we respond to it. So, even in a time like right now, with coronavirus and all of that, it's still our choice every day. Are we going to stay calm? Are we going to have peace? Are we going to feed into the panic and the fear? Are we going to continue to move our businesses forward, or are we going to shrink back? And, I had in so many ways let life just happen to me in the job that I had and the place we were living. The other part of that whole ministry situation was that we lived in a home that was fully furnished and provided by the Salvation Army. And then, part of the way they work is like the military. So you move every 3 to 5 years and you have no say in that. You just get told that it's time to move and you uproot your family and you get a new house and you have new employees and, it's all this change that you have no control over. And
Wow.
to shift, I think
Sounds brutal.
it's, yeah, I mean, we love the Salvation Army. We still attend the church, but it's not the life that we wanted to live anymore, where you just had no choice and no control over it. And I think that is probably the biggest thing that's shifted for me in learning business and learning how to be an entrepreneur, learning how to be a CEO of my business, is that I have that choice. And not even just in like the material day-to-day choices of like what time I wake up and where I live now, since we bought our own home and all of that, and like actually choosing our furniture and our bedding and all those things that so many people take for granted. Our cars, we bought cars for the first time because cars were part of the deal working for the Army. So, just having that choice, and then on a deeper level, knowing that I have a choice over my mindset, and that has changed my life and honestly saved my life. That's why I say entrepreneur saved my life from that anxiety and that depression that I was experiencing when I started taking control of my mindset and choosing, all those things I talked about, not being a victim, I can choose joy on any given day. I can choose stress. I can choose overwhelm. Those are all choices that we make. And so often we don't realize that we have a choice. We just feel like life happens to us and we just sort of give in to those, I guess, maybe natural instincts. But we don't. And that's, I think, been a huge game changer for me in my personal life. I honestly have never felt more hope and more joy in my entire life than I do now because of the mindset shifts that entrepreneurship has brought about, of having that power and that ability to choose day by day, minute by minute, choose and decide. There was a personal development conference I went to, and it was at this camp, kind of in this rural area of New Mexico. And it was a major step for me. It was the first time I ever left my daughter, and I left her for an entire week and went like 2,000 miles away. It was really traumatic, actually. But I really challenged myself that week to dig in and to grow and to let go of fear. And the climax of the week was climbing a 35-foot pole and jumping off. And I mean, I was roped up, so it wasn't like a danger per se. My mind felt in danger, but
that rope could go.
Well, yeah. I suppose like the carabiner could break or something, but being able to challenge myself, and I climbed up the pole like super fast, and 35 feet, I mean, that's like 3.5 stories tall. So I was pretty far up there, and I froze at the top for like minutes. I have a video of it, and it's like stressful watching it because I get up to the top and I just get terrified, because at the top, the pole is not even as big as a telephone pole. Like you can barely fit your feet on the top, and the goal was to get your feet on top. But in order to do that, you actually had to let go with your hands and then just almost jump, like launch yourself with one foot to get the other foot on top, but you could not, there was no way to do that while still holding on. So you had to let go in order to make it to the top. And I was terrified for minutes, and the coach on the ground was like, choose and move, choose and move. Like, you have to just choose and move. And it's been such a poignant reminder for me in business when I encounter difficult circumstances or where I'm not sure, I feel overwhelmed, and knowing I have to choose and move. And it's my choice. I have that power to choose and move. And I didn't die. I made it on the top. I got on the top. I jumped off, and it was one of the most exhilarating things in the world, and a very good lesson to me in life that I remind myself of frequently, to make that choice to choose and move in business and in life, and to just really go for it.
Yeah, you are brave, because scared or anything. Of course, I was like, you moved very, very fast. You went up there and you just jumped straight off. I was like, whew. Well, congratulations. You really took choose and move, and you moved. So,
Yep.
wow. Do you have mentors in your businesses?
I do, yes. And that is one of the things I think that really propelled my business forward. And I always tell people, get a coach. Before you think you're ready, get a coach. It is a game changer. And that's honestly, I can look back at my financials, and you can see, like, the month I got a coach, I literally 10x'd my income from, like, the first 8 months of the year. I got a coach in almost the last quarter. And then in the last quarter, I 10x'd my income for the entire year after working with a coach. So I always tell people, work with a coach. And it took me 2 years to take that step. And because I always thought, oh, it's too expensive, I can't afford it. You can't afford not to get the help of someone who's already been where you want to be. And it's an absolute game changer. I actually have 2 coaches now, one that's more business and one that's more mindset. And it's phenomenal. I know that I'm up leveling faster with having that influence, it's not like having a coach changes any of your skills or anything like that. It's just having someone who has your back. It's having someone who believes in you even more than you might believe in yourself on certain days, and having that confidence to charge what you're worth. When I hired my coach, I think I about 10x'd my prices, because she's like, yeah, you're not selling it for that cheap anymore. Like, you produce really good work and you're going to raise your price. And so, that was a big part of increasing my income, was just increasing my prices. And yeah, so that, I think, is like my top advice. Do it before you think you're ready. The investment is absolutely worth it. I mean, I was terrified. When I hired my coach, we were still living paycheck to paycheck. And my coach was almost the equivalent of a month's salary of mine. So, like, literally, I did not have the money. I worked my tail off. I hired her and I was like, okay, I put it on a credit card in order to start. And I decided, by the time that credit card gets charged again, so 1 month from now, I was like, I'm going to make enough money to pay for that, which was almost how much I had made in the previous 8 months. So it was a big goal. And I actually, by the time my credit card got charged again 30 days later, not only had I made first month, I also had made enough in my business to already pay for month 2 of coaching. So, when you set your mind to something, you just do it, and you just decide this is what it's going to be, and you go for it. I had tried group coaching. I had actually tried multiple group coaching programs, and nothing jived. That might work for some people. Again, I had tried that because I thought it was a cheaper option. I had tried just taking courses and had spent probably 3 times the amount as a coach. would have been if I had just done a coach first instead of buying a course on everything. So yeah, there you go. That's what I would tell people is just take the leap, invest in a coach. You won't regret it.
Wow. What is the biggest mistakes do you see people make when it comes to copywriting?
The biggest mistake is probably just not getting the help you need in time. And then people, because what happens is if you're not good at writing and you can admit that and just own it and take responsibility for it and get the help, I think people end up getting frustrated and then it becomes an internal thing like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not good at what I do. Maybe I'm not cut out for entrepreneurship, when really it's just a copy problem. It's not that you're not passionate or fantastic at what you do. It's just that maybe your zone of genius isn't communicating that. And so I think that's the biggest mistake, is thinking that they just need to bootstrap it themselves and, try to get some sales and then hire. But that's the problem, is that if your copy is not good and you're not communicating your message, you're not going to get sales. And then it's just this like mindset downward spiral. Whereas if you invested in the beginning in copywriting, that very first digital marketing course I took, outside of him always hounding us about personal development, the other thing he always said was, if there's one skill to learn, it's copywriting. And I believe there's a lot of truth in that, because you can try all kinds of marketing strategies, and if your message is not communicated well, none of those strategies are going to work. And you can spend a lot of money on ads. You can spend a lot of money on courses to learn those techniques, but it still comes back to being able to communicate that message. So either take the time to take some courses or read books or learn yourself, or just outsource it, hire it out. It's so worth it. Like, the amount for copywriting really is not that much compared to, okay, sweetie, here's my little one. The cost for copywriting is not all that much when you compare it to the sales that you can make with that copy. I mean, like, if you think about, so say you spend a couple $1,000s to have a sales page created for you for, let's say it's a $500 product. So all you need to do is sell, let's say 5 of those. How fast are you going to get that back? Versus spending, maybe you spend a year or more trying to write it yourself, trying to tweak it and get the sales.
What are your favorite copywriting resources?
Oh, great question. If you're just starting in copywriting, I would recommend Hypnotic Writing. That's probably my favorite book. You can get it on Amazon. So Hypnotic Writing, and then How to Write Copy That Sells by Ray Edwards. So those 2 books, they're like $10 or $15, very minimal investment on your part. Another great resource that's free is swiped.co. And that online database has ads back like decades, back to the 40s and 50s that you can look at all the way to the present. So it has Facebook ads. You can do searches based on your niche. You can do searches based on what kind of copywriting you're doing. So you can search Facebook ads. You can search video sales letters. You can search direct sales letters, like whatever it is that you're working on, to see examples. And that's what I recommend, if people are really on a tight budget, is go to something like swiped.co. And then the best thing you can do is find a piece of good copy and handwrite it 3 times. And I know that sounds like such a funny piece of advice, but it works. It'll start training your brain to actually use the techniques that are in that copy, and then you'll start doing those techniques without even realizing it. So you'll become a better copywriter without even really trying.
Let's talk about your business. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, so my main business that I do is done for you services. I build funnels and I write copy for people. So I specialize in landing pages and sales pages. And then, I also do the building and designing and everything. So it's a complete start to finish done for you funnel with copy and everything. And that's the main thing that I do. And then I just recently launched my Cash Flow Copy Academy. So for people who can't maybe afford to have it done for them at this time, I teach them all my tricks and tips within that course. And I'm really excited about the impact that this course is going to have because it breaks down headlines and bullet points, how to do landing pages. I show examples of landing pages that have converted over 90%. I have templates for sales pages. So really it's a great resource for entrepreneurs that just don't feel ready or able to outsource it and have me actually build it for them, but using all of my knowledge and taking it and running with it to do their own funnel.
Where can we find this product and how can we communicate with you?
Yeah, you can find me on my website, which is DawnApuan.com. And then also where I hang out the most is Instagram right now. So just at DawnApuan, and links are in my bio. And then on my website, you can find the information for, I always have my free cheat sheet available, which is a sales copy cheat sheet. And it's so funny. I call it a cheat sheet, but it's actually like 18 pages. So I give a ton of information on like exactly how to write your sales page, I map out funnels. I throw in a bunch of bonuses in there because I just love to help and serve people in this way. So you can always grab my cheat sheet on the website and then look up when the next round of Cashflow Copy Academy is.
Thank you for sharing. So, Clan, there will be more from Dawn in a moment. If you are listening on one of the many podcasting platforms rather than my website and you are encouraged by Dawn's journey, go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for a bonus portion of the interview. The Online Success Journey is a wonderful membership community built for people searching for the path to success. We are one big clan and can be part of this community for free. Once you have joined the clan, click on part of Dawn's journey or over 200 plus other journeys that are available and learn how you can find the right path for your own online success journey. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and Dawn.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com, filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.